All right, joining us now, former front office expert there, Jim Bowden on HQ. And Jim, it stands right now, as you said, he still has a Halos uniform until we get to August 2nd next week. The closer we get there, though, higher chance that might change in your eyes.
Well, Brandon, it certainly can. I mean, the Angels are listening to trade offers. Now, the asking price is similar to what the Washington Nationals are asking for Juan Soto, which basically is your top 4 or 5 prospects in your organization. Now, the question is, will someone pay that price for Shohei Ohtani? My guess is somebody will. And I think there's a strong possibility by the time you get to Tuesday that they decide to trade him. Now, they don't want to trade him. They've made that clear. They don't intend to at this point. But if somebody wants to pay that kind of price, they're going to consider it. Now, whether or not Artie Moreno, the owner, will sign off on it is another issue. But I think baseball-wise, when they look at their farm system and they look at their major league club, they're just far away from winning. There's really not a pathway to see how they're going to get there. Ohtani's a free agent after next year, and he wants to win. His camp has been clear. He's not going to sign an extension with the Angels. So trading him now would give them their best return. That's why there is a strong possibility this could happen on Tuesday.
His 6th consecutive game with double-digit strikeouts there last night, but not getting the W as we've seen sometimes throughout this season for him. All right, I want to take a look at some options for 2 teams here. The closer we get to that deadline that we keep talking about, starting with the Padres and targets not named Juan Soto in the outfield. Looking at 3 players here. Give me the price for the Pirates, Brian Reynolds there to the Padres.
Ooh, I like that question. All right, I like playing a little game. Okay, if you're going to get Brian Reynolds from the Pirates, Ben Cherington, their GM, is going to ask for one of your top outfield prospects. That's Robert Hassel III, or it's James Wood. Both of those guys can flat out hit. I like Hassel over Wood. I would ask for that piece. And then I'd have to get a pitcher back as well, maybe a left-handed pitcher like Robert Gasser, who's a top 10 prospect as well. That would be a big haul for Pittsburgh to get those 2 guys. And a trade that probably would work for both sides, because Brian Reynolds would really help the Padres in their window to win this year and next year. And, you know, the difficult part from the Pirates' perspective is by the time they're ready to win, Reynolds is either going to be too expensive or going to be a free agent. So for them to make this kind of deal probably helps their long-term plan. So I would say a fair deal would probably be something like Reynolds for Hassel and Gasser.
If the price is a little too rich there, how about Chicago's all-star Ian Happ there, who's maybe coming off a career year so far?
Yeah, he's had a great year, no doubt about it. You're not getting Hassel or Wood in a Happ deal, but I think a package maybe around Joshua Mears, who is a top 10 prospect, outfield guy, not quite the level of Hassel or Wood, would be the headliner in that deal. And then I think you'd get a pitching prospect, maybe the level of Matt Waldron. Waldron is a top 25 to 30 type of prospect as well. Profiles out to a middle-of-the-rotation starter. So I think for Ian Happ, a deal with Mears and Waldron probably makes a lot of sense.
All right, Jim, play along with me here. If that doesn't happen with Ian Happ, you know, because anything can happen the closer we get to August 2nd. All right, I'm done. How about Joey Gallo, who's hitting 162 and 12 home runs? I mean, what's the price? It has to be steep for him coming out of NY, right?
Is that really a question? All right, this is what I think the price should be for Joey Gallo. Or a bag of balls. Maybe a bag of used balls. There you go. Bag of used balls. I think that, look, he's hitting 159 and he's making $10.27 million. I mean, look, they can use the balls in BP. They certainly need them when you have guys like Stanton and Judge taking BP every day, right? That would help save some money in that area. Yeah, I mean, look, you're not going to get much for Joey Gallo. I do think he'll get moved by Tuesday, and I do think it'll be a team like the Padres, but the Yankees are going to have to eat most of his contract, if not all, and if they got a bag of used balls, honestly, I think they've done well.
Not the balls with the name kind of scuffed off and dirt about 10 days old. That's just, that was a low blow there, Jim. By the way, of course, the writing is probably on the wall there with Benintendi heading to NY as well from Kansas City. How about the Cardinals? Let's look at them for some pitching there. Same scenario. I'm going to give you 3 guys, starting with the Reds, Luis Castillo.
Yeah, well, Castillo is the #1 starting pitcher on the market, so you're going to have to overpay if you want to get Castillo. Everybody's in on Castillo. The Yankees, the Mariners, everybody's playing. you're going to pay a huge price. So it's going to be a big package to get Castillo. We'll start with third baseman Nolan Gorman, who's in the big leagues, but he's blocked at third base by Nolan Arenado. They've had to play him at second base or DH. He really can't play second base. But he's a 30 home run bat, legitimate, maybe 40 someday. So he'd have to be the headliner going back. You'd have to put Matthew Liberatore in it as well. He's a middle of rotation type starter, third or fourth type guy, not a lot of ceiling after that. And you'd have to probably put in a third piece as well, maybe outfielder Alec Burleson, who's got a chance to be a 20-25 home run outfielder as well. So it would be a big package for Castillo. I'll say Gorman, Liberatore, and Burleson probably gets it done.
All right, if they don't have the package for that, maybe you can't get him. How about a Frankie Montas in Oakland? What's the price for him?
Well, first of all, you better check on the shoulder. You better check the medicals and look at the MRI, and then make a determination from there. If you think the elbow and the shoulder are fine and you're not worried about the health, then I think shortstop Mason Wynn is probably going to take to get him. Mason Wynn, I saw at the Futures game, good defensive shortstop. He's got an unbelievable arm. In fact, he threw a ball from shortstop 102 miles an hour during that game. That kind of arm. I think he's a bottom of the order type of hitter, not a top of the order type of hitter. But I think Wynn for Montas makes sense. And then you add a player name later in that deal, and you say if Montas doesn't go on the injured list the rest of the year and makes all of his starts, then you get a second player as a player name later, maybe Ryan Holgate, a guy that's probably a top 25 prospect, might make sense. So Wynn and Holgate, if Montas is healthy, is probably the package that makes sense for Montas.
If you can't get Castillo or Montas there, how about Noah Syndergaard showing some value on Monday? I mean, it has to be some type of return if you get an Avenger in Thor, right?
Yeah, you're also taking his contract, though, $21 million. So, you got to pay him $10 million the rest of the way. That's not easy to do. So you're not going to get what you think you're going to get just because you got the name Thor coming to the mound. I'd rather see him in the movies than I would on the mound. So I'm going to say Michael McGreevy, a pitcher, a double-A pitcher, top 7 type prospect in the Cardinals organization. I would say him straight up for Syndergaard makes sense, considering you got to take Syndergaard's money with him. And you also have the risk of Syndergaard, what he's going to look like in the second half with all the innings he's already put up on the first half and the fact he's coming off of injury. I think that's a big risk the second half. So I'll say Michael McGreevy straight up for him.
I mean, Jim, so the hair doesn't add up to the price? The hair doesn't add or tick up the price a little bit? No?
Well, not with the Cardinals. They tend to be a little bit more conservative, although Harrison Bader's got his nice flow going. So Bader and Syndergaard, maybe Bader can introduce Syndergaard to his barber. That might help, or, salon. So, yeah, hair doesn't help that much, but the movies do help for sure.
All right, maybe you could put in a man bun there if that is the case, if he's going to the Cards there. As always, Jim Bowden tapping in on everything on MLB, getting us ready the closer we get to August 2nd there. But take a look at some of the games on tap today at 6:40. The Mets and Marlins, Royals at Yankees. Hey, can Aaron Judge get to 40 now? I think he's at 39. That at 7:05. And then 5 minutes after that, you got the Guardians, Rays, Brewers, and Red Sox. And then the Mariners in H-Town against Houston, 8-10. H-Town minus 178, the favorite here in between those two.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.